I'm going to pick up some really nice looking agate imposters, and we're going to cut those so I can show you the difference.
Dang, I just cannot believe this piece of jasper.
So many beautiful rocks. That's a nice thing to find on my way out. Well, the weather is really incredible for mid-November, and so what are we going to do? We're going to go rock hounding. Come along. Well, it looks like somebody grew pumpkins and then left them in the field. Poor little pumpkins. But we're going to the river. We are near Pompey's Pillar, Montana, and I haven't been here for a year or so, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we find. Well, even if we don't find much in the way of rocks, it is absolutely beautiful out here. Look at all these rocks. Yay! This one I think is probably the salt. It's an agate imposter, but I want to just spray it off and look at it. Just in case, you never know. Looks like they're clean over there, but I'll bet that if they're clean, people have been over them and over them. We'll see. The rocks are so much easier to look at when they're not covered with silt. You can see the colors, the textures, the shapes. Much easier. First little petrified wood of the day. Boy, you know, it really is pretty empty here as far as picker-uppers. I think we're fairly close to Billings, and so lots of people probably have hit this spot. But that's okay, because it's a beautiful day, and I know we're going to find something great. Oh, look at that! There's the first agate of the day. The sunshine helped. Look at the color of this jasper. Isn't that just beautiful? Well, it is later in the afternoon, and as I say, it's the middle of November, so it gets dark pretty early. So we're just gonna go as far as the river, which I think is just right over there. This is actually an inlet. And then we're gonna head back because I don't wanna have to hike in the dark. I think what I'm going to do, since I'm just really not finding much in the way of agates or petrified wood, is I've been thinking about this for a while, I'm going to pick up some really nice looking agate imposters, and we're gonna cut those so I can show you the difference. It's better than nothing. Okay, let's get started. This one tricks me all the time. It is, in fact, this really pretty kind of green porphyry. No, this one's not quite so green. But they must be formed in the same way that agate is, in the same kind of vugs, gas bubbles. And so they're just constantly tricking me, and I'm picking them up and washing them off and thinking, ooh, I found an agate. Here's another one that I would be tempted to turn over probably, but look, it's just plain old mudstone. All right, this one is not particularly agate-y without the silt on it, but if it had silt on it, it would definitely be something that I tried to turn over, so we're gonna take it along. It's a jasper. Here's another one that can be an agate imposter because of the texture. It is in fact a conglomerate, and so it's lumpy and bumpy like agates are. When they're all covered with silt, it's hard to tell the difference. And this is cool. Right next to it is a piece of petrified wood. I haven't seen very much petrified wood here, which means that there have been a lot of people here, because petrified wood is pretty easy to spot. And so people who, you know, maybe aren't necessarily well tuned into looking for agates will always pick up petrified wood. And that makes it tricky. Anyway, I'm happy to have both of these. Another agate imposter. See, this is why it's so hard to hunt in the silt. Get that cleaned off. I think it's got kind of like some white stuff in it. We'll find out. It's hard to tell why I would think this one is an agate imposter, because it doesn't look anything like an agate. But if you look at the shape, which is what you have to look for in the silt, this is another culprit. And I saw it and thought, ooh, that looks cool, so I'm gonna bring it along. This is, you'll often hear me refer to as devilstone, and it's really porphyritic basalt. It is It has the same kind of skin, it has the same kind of shape as an agate. It does sometimes have like more little pits in it than an agate does, but I cannot tell you how many of these I've turned over. So into the backpack, we're going to see what it looks like when you cut it. All right, this one a lot of people have trouble with. This is a piece of quartzite in the mud, and it's very pretty, but it's not an agate. So we're going to take that one home, cut it open, let you see what it looks like. All right, this one is too not covered with silt for me to be fooled by it, but it has the same shape, and I like the color, so we're gonna cut that one open too. It's a piece of jasper. If you'd like to know more about agate imposters or agates, or what it's like to rockhound the Yellowstone River, check out my book, So Many Beautiful Rocks. The link is in the description below. It's all about rockhounding on the Yellowstone, and it's in my Etsy store. All right, just one more agate imposter. Not because there aren't more, but because that rock keeps falling out every time I bend over. So I think we're full and we're ready to go. We'll go back to the shop, see what these look like. All right, so as I'm walking back to the car, thinking that this is gonna be a fun video, even if it's not full of agates, I turned this one over. Look at that. Ah! Now two of them are falling out. Look at that. It's a beautiful, beautiful limb cast, like chonkin', chonkin', chonkin'. The river is apologizing for not filling me in with the rest of them. Gosh, that is so beautiful. We'll cut this one too, and try to make up for the imposters. So it is very, very clear, which means it's just as well to keep it the way it is. It's pretty though, kind of bluish. You can tell that it's a limb cast by looking in this direction. Well, I mean, you can tell just by looking at the outside of it, but if you look in here, you can see that it was formed inside of a circular hole that was left by a limb, and it looks like maybe it was sitting this way, because then the bottom filled up a little bit more than the top, and then the center filled up with some quartz. That is neat. Hey, our first agate imposter is this lumpy bumpy piece of jasper, and you can tell it's not an agate because it's got this color right here, but boy, that shape and that texture really looks agate-y. Let's cut it and see what it looks like. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, my goodness, that might not be an agate, but look at those colors. Holy cow. That was very unexpected. Well, let's cut some more of that. Dang, I just cannot believe this piece of jasper. Oh my gosh. Like, I wouldn't have necessarily even picked this up, except for I was just looking for stuff that was an agate imposter. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Wow. Clearly I need to look for agate imposters more often. Let's see what this agate imposter looks like inside. So you can see why I say so many beautiful rocks. I mean, this is just something that people would just kind of kick to the curb, and it's not an agate and la-di-da, but look at this. Think how beautiful this would be made into cabochons. Here is an example of devilstone that this isn't the one that I picked up. I can't find the one I picked up. So this is a different example that's very, very similar. This one maybe has a little bit more white sprays in it. The other one might just be more black with specks. But it's still pretty cool, and it's super hard, so it would polish also. This agate imposter is a conglomerate, and usually I would use my smaller saw to cut this, but it's currently having its motor redone. So we're going to try to do it in Big Bertha. This is going to be fun. Alright, well here is that green porphyry
that often looks like an agate under the silt. So let's see what this looks like cut. This one isn't as green as they often are, but you can see that it has some cool patterns in it. So again, if this is all you find, it's okay, because it's pretty too. The Yellowstone River has so many beautiful rocks.
While we're here, let me remind you to subscribe, like, comment, and share. You can also visit my Etsy store, Katie Did Rocks.
Definitely not something I'll take more slabs of, but it's still kind of cool. Well, it has more variegation inside of it than I thought it did. Still not very exciting. It is kind of cool that you can see all the little specks though. Here's another chunk of what I call jasper. I guess it's jasper. Very, very over big globs. Let's cut it. See what it looks like. Could still cut it. Could still do something with it. It's not the most beautiful rock in the world. It is an agate imposter, but you could still do something. And here's what that one looks like inside. Look at that. It's almost like clouds. So pretty. I was not able to make another slab of this because my saw motor for my smaller saw went belly up at the same, just after this slice. So it's being fixed and you'll have to make do with the end piece. Still nice though.
That was so much fun. Thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed yourself. This is Kate from Katie Did. Keep on doing.